Hey y'all, another quick message God wanted me to make real quick. Explaining why your tolerance level is changing, okay? So this is something that I experienced myself, and he showed me that, I'm not the only one, that other people are experiencing this as well. And it's like the level of tolerance you once had for a situation or a person or people, whatever, is changing. Okay, so for me, when God showed me this, because at first I was feeling bad about it, but God had to show me that I was piggybacking off of his feelings. A lot of times, often, I feel his feelings. God shares his heart with me a lot. And a lot of y'all, he shares his heart with y'all as well. And sometimes you don't even realize why you're feeling a certain way, but you're picking up on his feelings. You're walking in tow with him. So basically, why your tolerance level is changing is because God's tolerance level is changing. Okay. God is a God of mercy and love and grace, and he's had so much love and grace and mercy on, people in this world for so long, but his tolerance level has changed. If you're sensitive spiritually, you have definitely felt that at the beginning of this year for sure. I was already, kind of picking that up towards the end, but definitely the beginning of this year, to where grace has run out for a lot of people, right? Time's up. He's given them many chances, and a lot of y'all, or some of y'all rather, are feeling that, okay? And so that's what he was basically showing me. That's what he was basically showing me. Um, and y'all, real quick, how he showed me this was basically, it was with, I guess, well, it was with my kingdom spouse, okay? I know a lot of y'all are familiar with that term, the person I know God has for me. And I was like, Lord have mercy. I basically was having less patience. I have had a lot of patience throughout this process, but I just had to pray. I didn't like how the person was handling me, right? And I had to pray and talk to God about this, because I'm like, this person makes me feel like a yo-yo, like having me up and down in my feelings, and I don't have time for that. And I didn't like how I was feeling as a woman. I didn't like how I was being treated as a woman. And so basically, y'all, I just had to fall back, okay? I had to fall back, and I had to let God know that I'm still on board. I'm still on board with whatever God wants to do, with what he wants to do, because God has not changed his mind about this person, no matter how many times I've asked. So I'm still on board. But what I was telling God is, it's like, for instance, and a lot of y'all can relate, God has separated me from a lot of people. He's pointed out a lot of people to me. For instance, if there was anyone in my life who didn't really respect me, didn't really like me, he was calling them out left and right, and then separating me from them. Anyone that was making me feel, less than my worth and value, he was calling them out and then telling me to come away from them. And so basically, I'm like, Dad, you keep separating me from all of these people, right? Because you're telling me they're getting in the way of me, knowing who I am in you and believing what you say, far as my identity, like believing what you say about me far as my identity. And I'm like, this person that you told me, is the one I'm supposed to be with, the one I'm supposed to do work with in the kingdom. This person is making me feel less than my worth. So how come I could cut all these other people off, but I can't cut them off? So, but anyways, and I told God to check me on it if I was wrong. And basically, all what he showed me was I was in step with him. I was feeling in step with him. And he gave me permission. He gave me permission to just cover this person in prayer. I'm not running from it or nothing like that. I'm still going to be obedient when the time comes. But I'm just like, my Father who art in heaven did not teach me all this time. He's been teaching me my worth and value. He did not teach me to accept certain things because that person, right? That your partner that God has for you to marry and to build with, until they have surrendered to God, they can be used by the enemy, okay? The enemy can use them too. So, me and God talked about that as well. So I'm still definitely covering them in prayer, but um I'm like, I have to hold a certain level of respect for myself, and I'm not gonna keep putting myself in certain situations and to where I'm allowing my feelings to get hurt, and then I can't even properly pray for the person because they done angered me, and now I don't want to pray for them, and that's exactly what the enemy wants too. So, anyways, y'all, I didn't even mean to share all that or go into all that, but that was my little situation, and God gave me permission to fall back and cover them in prayer because I know I've done enough, right? I know I've done enough, and I said, God, if they don't know who I am by now, so I'm like, I'm leaving that in your hands because from Jump Street, God told me he was going to do this thing. He didn't say I had to make it happen. And y'all, I didn't mean to go into all this, but maybe somebody need to hear this. If you're waiting for some certain things from God, think about the instructions that he gave you to begin with, okay? So he brought up the story of Abraham and Sarah and how when God made a promise to Abraham and Sarah, he promised Abraham and Sarah a child, right? Not once did God say, okay, Abraham and Sarah, I'm going to give y'all a child. And I want y'all to go, I want y'all to be intimate like once a day, right? I'm going to give y'all a child and I'm telling y'all to be intimate once a day. He never gave them any instructions that would help them to create a child, right? God simply promised Abraham and Sarah a child, but he didn't tell them to do any of the work that would consummate a child. Not once, right? That's what he brought up to me. And that's what he related this particular topic to, y'all. I'm all over the place in this message, but I guess somebody needed. For y'all, if he told you who your kingdom partner is and think things ain't looking right, don't even worry about none of that. He said he told y'all he was going to do this thing. He didn't tell you to do some of the things you've done trying to make it happen. It was never for you to make happen. It was for you to allow him to bring it together in his perfect timing. Your Father, your Heavenly Father, wants the best for you. He wants the best for you. He wants you to be respected. He wants you to be well loved. He wants you to be treated right. You have probably had your heart broken several times over, right? Some of y'all, Lord, I ain't gonna even, Jesus is Lord. It's a lot. But God is not setting you up for failure. If he told you that he was going to make something happen for you, that's something he's going to do. And sometimes we want to be like Sarah and we want to help him out a little bit. Sarah had to give her husband her handmaiden and tell him to go sleep with another woman and maybe she's supposed to have his baby. God didn't tell Sarah to do none of that. None of that. It was Sarah's lack of faith and lack of patience. And she was trying to rush God's hand. You cannot rush God's hand. Stay in step with him. And if he promised you something, he said he was going to do it, then let him do it. Now, if he gave you other instructions, follow those instructions. And what I've learned from experience, the things he's promised me and the instructions he gives me don't even go hand in hand. You see what I'm saying? So he may have promised me a certain thing and then given me instructions to do something that looks like a whole different subject. Like, how is me doing this going to get me that? And that's not even, that doesn't even matter, okay? Bottom line is God is going to do this thing for you guys. He's going to do it. You don't have to force it. You don't got to keep putting yourself in these messed up positions to get your feelings hurt. If that person is out of place, the enemy will use them as long as they're out of place. Do not give the enemy the room to do that. Ask God, how should I cover this person in prayer? How should I cover this person in prayer? And how should I protect myself in this process and protect the promise of what God is promising you to give you? Because there's so much coming with these unions, y'all. It's so much coming. But y'all, I didn't even mean to go into all that. That was it. That was the message. I love y'all so much. A lot of y'all can feel God's heart. Y'all can feel his feelings. So that's why your tolerance level is changing. Just make sure that your heart doesn't change to where you're holding hate in your heart. You need to still be praying for the person. Whatever the situation is, cover it in prayer. If he separates you from a situation, then hey, be separated from it. Cover it in prayer. But make sure your heart is staying like God's, okay? Make sure it's staying like God's. Okay, y'all. All right. That was it. All right. I love y'all. And y'all be blessed.